I'm recording this because the survivors no longer envy the dead. The final war is over. His architects forever entombed in melted glass and steel. I watch the efforts of our species dance away on the radioactive wind. Civilization retreated by millennia. All of human history brought to dust. Our cities, now scorched black mausoleums, serve as a reminder. There can be no victory in war. Earth is the answer to the question of our mortality. With resolute defiance, we choose to grasp at the delicate thread of life. My son, the gift of survival is yours. Please, may you never submit. There will be more.
This is it. We are on our own. The air is clear. Welcome home. We're headed straight for oblivion, but we're gonna make it. Whatever it takes. I just wanna be with you. Lost love and revelations. Heavy rain diffuse the sun. Look up and watch it all away. We all know how this ends. Up above, the skyline's drifting in and out around us. But I know you're here. Can we rebuild everything? I can see the angel dust are draining down upon us. So I know we'll be safe. We can rise to the fire. Our roads paved in crushed up skull. Ride with me to the end of the world. We're headed straight for oblivion. Just keep it lit, here we go again. And we'll fly right through. I just wanna be with you. Lost love and revelations. Heavy rain diffuse the sun. Look up and watch it all away. We all know how this ends. Up above, the skyline's drifting in and out around us. But I know you're here. Can we rebuild everything? I can see the angel dust are draining down upon us. So I know we'll be safe. We can rise to the fire. There's a void in my head. Nowhere I can hide. There's a shiver in her breath as she slowly closes the other eye. Time stood still. We danced on broken glass. Yeah, I'm afraid of nothing when I'm with you. Hell can't stop us if we stay together. Let's live and die and live like this forever.
Cycle. Oh, they've done it! Simon Terodde, an instant hero! Can you believe it? Plenty attacking! No! The comeback is complete! A stunning second half from Schalke!
Blau, weiß, sein Leben lang. Herzlich willkommen zurück auf Schalke America. I'm your host, Richard Carnaman. Join me on this Blues Monday. I don't know. Jack Mangan. Jack, welcome to the show.
Blues, or you just say Labor Day. It's a Labor Day edition as well.
Labor
There's
Day
that.
edition. There you go. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, no victory Monday today, unfortunately.
No, not at all. We needed this Labor Day weekend, Labor Day, I should say, to kind of recover after yesterday's game. The debacle that was against FC Köln. Man, it was a game. We knew going into this game, and by the way, all we're gonna do to talk about this podcast is this game, and that's it. There's really no news. We got about 11 days until the next game, international break, so we have time to debrief, unhinge, whatever. But we knew going into this game this was going to be a big match. A team that comes from the first division, a team that we're rivals with. It's going to be a difficult game. They beat Braunschweig last game 5-0, but we scored 5 goals on them as well. They had some talented players. Looking into the game. Dejan Ljubicic was a guy that I kind of earmarked as a guy to keep an eye on, but they got a lot of talented players. I was optimistic heading into this game, Jack. What were your feelings heading into the game, considering who our opponent was and how we have been playing inconsistently?
I wasn't super optimistic. I know we talked about the result they had against Braunschweig, which was the same result that we had against Braunschweig, but feeling that this was going to be a pretty good yardstick for us, I think, overall. And I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch the game yet. I've just seen brief highlights, so I'm going to kind of lean on you. But it seemed as though there was a pretty clear gulf, I think, between the two teams for the most part in this one. Would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, and I think the gulf is in finishing ability, the final product. I think for the most part in the game, yeah, we had the upper hand in a lot of portions possession-wise. We had a lot the upper hand. But the skill set was clear gulf there. I think you look at the skill players for Cologne, and it was just like night and day. Their wingers are fast, they're skillful, they can finish the ball. Our players, not so much. We're very, very slow, and it's while I didn't think their defense was that great, ours is just not good at all. So let's look at their lineup real quick. In this one, just kind of some guys. Damian Downs is a guy who they had hoped to get off the schneid and get a goal here in this one, goal and assist in this one. Lemperle is a good fast winger. Maina is a good player. Ljubicic is a guy I mentioned, super smooth on the ball. Hussein Basic and Martel in the defensive midfielder roles. You got Pacareda, we know him very well.
Yep.
Heinz, we know very well. Pauli and Thielmann, we know as well. And the goalkeeper, Urbich. Again, not necessarily big name guys, but they're all skilled guys. They're all pacey. This is the one thing I think that I noticed off the bat with Cologne, just looking at their tape. They're a fast team, and they're skillful. So, a lot of players I think that you could be worried about heading into this game.
Yeah, and Pacarada feasted down the left-hand side from my understanding, from what I was seeing online from people.
Yeah.
So, and not surprised by that. That's a known quantity for us for sure. So, this is what I was kind of worried about going into it. I understand, with possession and some of the, control of the match elements and whatnot, but some of the decisive finishing in the final third in this game, I think we were slow to react to danger from what I could tell and those sorts of things. So, question marks early.
Absolutely, question marks indeed. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. The man of the match right here in the middle here is the referee, I think, for Cologne. Looking at the lineup, Häkkinen in goal. Back four did change slightly. Gentenbein was back in the lineup with Cisse. Schallenberg back in the lineup as well, with Merkin on the left. Midfield, 5 really didn't change. Seguin Bachmann in the back with Karaman, Moore, and Hamach up top, and then Silla leading the way. Looking at this lineup, it's an improved than what we saw last week because we got Gantenbein back, got Schallenberg back. But I mean, still Cisse back there. So he had an okay game last week despite the loss. Thoughts on the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly similar. Obviously, I mean, a couple of changes, obviously, with Schallenberg coming back in and whatnot. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the day where we have an option, probably other than Tobias Moore starting on the left hand side. Although I don't think he had a particularly bad game, from what I understand. I'm just kind of going off of once again some of the comments I've heard and whatnot. But interested in your thoughts on Merkin, because it seemed like it was another stinker from him. And he was very steady last season. So I understand why he's being sort of like the first choice left back. And that's something I probably would have agreed with in the absence of Uwian. But how do you feel about that portion of the back line at the moment?
Yeah, it's Merkin, who was so steady last year. He was a guy who could rely on both defensively, but more importantly, offensively. This year, I feel like that little distraction he had during the summer about, like, will he go to a Bundesliga club or not, kept weighing on his mind, and I feel like his mind is still there. Like, oh man, I kind of had this chance to go to Bundesliga, and he doesn't seem like he's all there. He has been playing subpar so far this season. Haven't seen that crossing ability. Haven't seen him get up. He has been getting up on the pitch, but it's still not that great stuff we've seen. I think he had one good run up in this game where he took a shot. But yeah,
he's also just getting beaten in a way that he wasn't like last year. I mean, he was very, like I said, very steady, very solid, reliable. Maybe not some of the highs that like Uwian can provide, but like, a very consistent performer, and not the position that I was expecting to be a question mark when you look at our right side, by contrast, which has sort of been the question mark for many seasons in a row now, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like both the left and right side have been very questionable, whether it's Gantenbein on the right, Aiden, whomever. They're getting beat consistently, and Merkin has been getting beat consistently, and so it seems like center backs have been left out in Ireland, and also the goalkeeper as well. So it's not been pretty defensively. Offensively, it's been a little bit better. Obviously, having Karaman and Silla up there is helpful, but I think we hope that with the forward, the back, plus Seguin and Bachmann, it'd be a little bit more steady back there, and I don't think we've seen that outside of the first game. We've really seen that this year so far, so that's been very worrisome. They came out, I mean, we started out probably like the first 20 minutes of the game, good possession, but really did nothing in the final third. They had probably just as many chances as we did in the first 20, 25 minutes. But one thing was evident was that despite all the possession we had, of the two teams, they looked the most dangerous because the counterattack, it just seemed like they were constantly attacking us, and we had no answer for it. And, lo and behold, in 25th minute, they get an opportunity to come down the pitch. Really, it was really, I hate this play a lot because Merkin throws it in. I think it was Merkin throws in the ball. Eventually goes to Hecker, and Hecker goes to clear a ball deep. Not accurate, finds a Cologne player. They immediately hit a counterattack. And you look at the play here, ball's here where it's circled. We have numbers, right? They got 4 guys here. We got 6 guys. We should have this covered on this counterattack. But what ends up happening is that no one really puts pressure on Lemperle, and he slides it over to Downs. Cisse doesn't close off in time. Nobody backtracks well. Downs get an easy shot. Hecker didn't even move on the goal. And you're like, how we were outnumbering them on that counterattack. We had good play there in terms of position, and they still destroyed us there. I mean, that was infuriating to watch. I mean, we clearly have numbers. Gerards even said it. It's like poor decisions.
I mean, you do, but if you go back to the previous image, yeah. But the problem here is once you get into this situation, if it's Cisse that's at the bottom there, is that Schallenberg up top, or was that somebody else?
That's Schallenberg up top, and Cisse.
Schallenberg gets you're forcing him to make a decision. He either has to go ball or he has to track runner. Yeah. He has help, so it makes sense for him, to try to go ball, but he has to try to cut off the passing lane when he does it. So there's not that quick inside slot. Problem is Cisse just doesn't react to danger quick enough and doesn't get over to cover this off. So I mean, I feel like this is more on Cisse than Schallenberg personally. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean about numbers, but I mean, even in this moment right here, we're already in trouble because you're forcing that outside guy into.
And I think you said the key word there. I think you said the reacting thing. Because if you watch the play just before this, I took a snapshot here. Hecker had cleared it, so Cisse was wide right. Merkin is wide up the field because he just threw the ball in, and the team was pressing up because they thought we're not going to lose possession off the goalkeeper ball here. No, he turns it over, and immediately we had all these guys playing in high line, I guess, because we're expecting to attack. They turn it over, and also they have numbers, like you said. Yeah, Cisse wasn't in the right position. Schallenberg is in a tough spot. All these guys are backtracking now because they did an immediate turnover, and so it's not a. Heckeren should have done a lot better. Putting up the middle, like he did, was a really poor play by him. I mean, that should never happen in that situation. And Gerard's mentioned poor decisions. That's a poor decision there that led to a goal. And then on the shot, he doesn't even move on the shot. He just stood there while the ball goes by him. I thought maybe look at the replay, maybe he tried to commit to the right side, but it just looked like he was frozen there. I don't know. It wasn't like anyone was in front of him. Cisse was behind, so I don't know. So 1-0 there.
Do you think he just didn't expect it to be taken first time?
Yeah, that could have been it.
Position?
That could have been it, I guess.
Because you have to give Lamperle credit for the shot. It's a decisive finish. I mean, it's nicely taken. Yeah, but
Downs did really great on that shot there, and so no doubt about it. But yeah, it's just the whole play starting with Heckeren with the turning it over in midfield. It's not a way to do it. And when your players out of position like they are, you just can't do that. You got to angle those passes.
Yeah.
Joseph says, woke up to the result, wasn't pleased at all. No, not at all. I had to watch the game and replay myself because I wasn't at home myself, but I saw a replay. I'm like, oh my gosh. So 1-0 there, and they had some more opportunities in the half. Some guys had opportunities. Merkin did make a run up and took a chance. Toby Moore had some chances. He missed he had a lot of opportunities that he flubbed a lot. I thought he could have done a lot better. I thought Paul Seguin was lacking from the set pieces. You talked about Merkin struggling this season. Seguin, outside of that first game, his set pieces hasn't been that great. I mean, in this game, I think he was 0 for everything. All his free kicks and corner kicks were just terrible. And it's led to counterattacks the other way. I don't know. Everybody seems off. And maybe he's coming back from injuries, so I don't know. But just before halftime, they would double that lead. My mouse is working there. Another play again where, it was a play, I think, where Toby Moore, I think, took a shot. Great save by the keeper. Instead of letting the ball go out, they quickly get the ball and they counterattack immediately, come down the pitch. And, yeah, we got numbers again, but they move so fast here. It's essentially 3-on-2, but they got two guys with basic Cisse here by himself, kind of no man's land. And Cisse didn't read it well. None of the backtrackers got back in time. Lamperle is wide open in front of the goal. Takes a shot, gets saved initially by Heckeren, but he kept with it. Gets a shot off and scored a goal. Cisse, look how he's inches away from touching it.
Yeah, I mean, that was frustrating too because from that angle, the two of them kind of could have fanned out and covered most of the front of the goal, and they kind of stacked up almost on the line so that there was that space on the side of Cisse, and he just could not sort his feet out. You kind of felt like that should have been saved off. Also, perhaps I'm already my short-term memory is failing me already, but it seems like in 3 of the first 4 matches we've conceded a goal right before halftime. Have we not?
Yeah.
It feels like it's a consistent issue. We can't get to the half and keep things, either on a level basis or just the one where we're shooting ourselves in the foot constantly, right before. I don't know if it's a focus issue or if it's just, unfortunate timing that's going to, sort itself out for the course of the season. But yeah, not great.
And it's Maina who got the goal on this one. Sorry. I think Downs got the assist on this one. But yeah, again, it's a quick counterattack. It was really poor to react by everyone. We had a good reaction after that first goal. And we got a shot off. We're really fully committed trying to score a goal, and then they hit us on a quick counterattack. I mean, good, big ups to Cologne for reading that and attacking, and just we couldn't get our back check. Seguin was hustling and trying to get back, but he couldn't keep up with Maina, and so they ended up getting that goal, like I said. And Cisse was inches away from getting that ball, but I agree with you. They should have fanned out. They were both covering that near post, and I don't know what they were doing there. So just before the break, they made it 2-0. It's oh gosh, here we go. Gerards wanted to. Apparently, Gerards was yelling at them in the locker room and trying to get them motivated for the second half. But I mean, 30 seconds into the second half, Jack. 30 seconds and they score a goal right off the kickoff, essentially. And again, it's poor decisions where they get the ball wide left. We have plenty of guys back there. There's 2 guys who are trying to read Downs here in the front, who's right here. Lamperle is right here with a guy, Merkin or Schallenberg all over him. You got Lubicic up here, and Merkin's watching him. Toby Moore's back here. It looks like they had this well covered, and then they got a runner coming. Guy comes in through here. Nobody reads him. Two guys let him go by. He finds the ball to him. Lemperle goes back door. Nobody's paying attention to him and just tapped it in for a goal. It was just infuriating.
Look, if you want to criticize Schallenberg on this one for not keeping kind of a body on his man and tracking that run better, you can do that. Honestly, on this one, I'm kind of more just willing to chalk that up to a good move from Cologne. It was the initial ball in was nice, and then that second ball flashed across, the face of the goal back post was very decisive. In the run from Lemperle, like the second that initial ball was played, he dove to the back post. Like it was a great move. He beat Schallenberg, and like that's one of those ones where I'm just kind of like, tip the cap. Like not the best, but it was a pretty silky sequence from them. So not ideal in general, especially coming right out of half when I'm sure, like as you said, Gerrard's probably has some sort of message that he's giving, and then that can completely, ruin whatever confidence he would have rebuilt during the break. So not ideal. And look, I mean, pretty noticeable defensive fragility so far for us through the first 4 matches, which was a problem last season. We were hoping was going to get kind of settled out. I understand that, we're relying on, to some extent, a pretty young back line, an unsettled back line in terms of a lot of rotation in and out, not like, settled personnel with a consistent center back pairing. You're also partnering that with a young goalkeeper as well. So like there's a lot of factors that I think are working against Gerrard's at the moment and being able to, establish a strong defensive side. But this continuing into season 2 for him is becoming a little bit worrying early in the season. Or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the defense is continuing to be leaking goals. It's been all last season. He helped a little bit, but yeah, already this season. I mean, how many teams have scored at least 3 goals on us already? It's just like leaking goal after goal. It's not ideal. And yes, they've had injuries. I understand that, but still, whoever comes in, it should be next man up and get ready. And it just seems like when you have numbers like this and no one can understand this guy's gonna be running the ball, no one can pick up the reads. Great play by Cologne, but like there was plenty of bodies there. Someone should have picked it up, and it seemed like, oh, he got it. I'm not gonna worry about it. Toby Moore just hanging out here at top of the box and Merkin as well. I'm like, it's just all infuriating. 30 seconds into the half that they get this goal. Now this goal was questionable because it went to VAR. The question of Lemperle being offsides. They said that he was just onside. I think they got the frame that they took the footage of was like just before the guy touched the ball. I was like, I think Lemperle was offsides. Nonetheless, 3-0. Great play by them. Like I said, many of us thought it was offsides. I know in Discord we were chatting. I thought it was offsides. But VAR it never goes with us, especially when we're playing Cologne, right? It always seems to be favoring them, and they get up 3-0 there. We did eventually pull one back as a penalty. It was Yunus. Yunus came in. I would say this before Yunus came in. Hamach, he came off at halftime for Antwi Adie. Another poor performance by Hamach. Again, non-existent on the. He didn't help the team at all. You didn't even notice he was out there on the pitch in the first half. That's why he got pulled. Again, it's new to the team, but I don't know if he should be starting the starting 11 right away. I get that he's been match prep and everything like that, but it's just we need all the bodies we can have out there that know what the play is, and unfortunately, he's not there yet.
So that's what I was going to ask you, having not seen the whole match yet. Like from the brief snapshot that I saw of his stats in this game, it didn't seem like he did
anything
a lot poorly in terms of like losing possession. However, he won a couple duels, had good pass completion, a couple key passes as well in the first half. But I mean, is your opinion just on the whole of the 45 minutes just far too completely irrelevant and not noticeable? Okay, yeah. Because I mean, that's now the second or third time that's happened early in the season. And like I said, I mean, it seems like it was a little bit better of a performance from Tobias Moore this week than last week, for example. But that is not. You have Silla and Karaman, which should be a very good partnership for us this year, and certainly good enough for Bundesliga 2 to do some damage. But you have to be able to flank that with some talent and some people that can stretch the defense and open up some opportunities for them. And it just doesn't seem like that's happening consistently enough from the people that are in our starting 11 in those positions at the moment, this point in the season.
No. Aiden and Yunus would come in, or I think they came around 60th minute or so, and it made an impact. Yunus almost immediately gets taken down in the penalty box. Karaman steps up, scores a goal, makes it 3-1. This was like in the 80th minute. And then minutes later, Toby Moore scores a goal. Really great goal, honestly. He kind of was a holding forward there, sets it over to, I forget who it was, Karaman or somebody, and he ends up getting a goal after the shot. But they called it offsides. They go back to VAR again. Play looks identical to the play that Lemperle was off or on, and they said that Toby Moore was off. As a guy who used to play striker poorly, but play striker, I'm always for the forwards. I always think those even plays should be going in favor of the forwards. It opens up the game a lot more. If he's obviously the way I look at the offside rule should be is like if you're even a little bit over, it's fine. I think if you're more than a body length over, then you're all clearly offsides or more, right? The Bergstaller rule. If you're Bergstaller, you're offsides. But I hate that those tight calls and they sometimes say like your elbow's off, your whatever's off. I hate those calls, and it seemed like Lemperle and Toby Moore were almost identical off, but one's offsides, one's not. We don't get that second goal. I don't know that we would have made a difference in the game, but maybe would have, right? 3-2 with 10 minutes to go. It's possible. So it's infuriating to see that. We ultimately lose 3-1. There was like 10 minutes of stoppage time or whatever, but really nothing there. Another tough loss. The key repeating theme is defensively we're just fragile, and there's a golfing class, like you said. There's a golfing class between the two teams. Their skilled players were much more clinical than our skillful players. I mean, Toby Moore had lots of chances, did have some good moments, but could not finish the opportunities that he had. Seguin was poor from set pieces. Bachmann didn't do really much other than trying to get in a fight with some Lubicic, I think it was. Merkin, another shaky game. I don't know. It was tough to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I have normally after games I do like my debrief, but the game was yesterday, and I was like, well, we can do a podcast. I'll do it today, whatever. So it's all part of the podcast. But I usually do 4 takeaways on my debrief. So I got 4 takeaways from the game. First, Paul Seguin, I thought he was really poor in the game. Again, the set pieces are bad. Seemed out of position. It seemed like when he's done well, yeah, he'll start deep at times between the center backs, but he pushes up immediately. He never pushed up in this game, it seemed like. It just seemed like Bachmann was always ahead of him, and I'd rather have it flipped in that situation. So I don't know if he's still ailing from an injury or what, but he was poor for me. So that's one. Takeaway number 2, again, Hamac. Poor game again. Pulled at halftime. I'm not going to say get rid of him because he's new, but he shouldn't be starting. Get him off the bench. He's got skill set. Bring him off the bench. You should be kind of starting guys like Antwi Adye, a guy who we've known as a known commodity in German football. Let him play. Maybe I don't necessarily want him on the wing, but I'd rather have him on the pitch than not, right? So that's number 2. Toby Moore had some good things. Like he had some crosses too, where he nearly found Silla a bunch of times. Linked up well with Karaman, but I think his finishing product is what pissed me off more than anything, if I'm being honest. So I gave him a poor rating as well. And then lastly, VAR I thought was atrocious just because it was inconsistent at all. 2 plays that looked identical. One's offside, one's onside, both in favor of Cologne. I don't know. I hate these kind of matches, and at least thankfully it's an international break. We can sort some things out, recover from injury.
Get healthy primarily, hopefully. Be ready to go with a full squad, full complement.
Yeah. So, it's thank goodness that the break is here. But much needed there. Like I said, we had a game. There's a game coming up. If I can find Schalke's schedule, there we go. Schalke, there you go. Love podcasts. We got Knock Breda next. The Dutch team play them on this Wednesday, 2 days from now. A friendly, and then the next league game is Karlsruhe on the 13th.
Yep, big one.
Friday the 13th. I hate those Friday games. And it is a big game, as you said.
Unbeaten so far through 4.
They are unbeaten. Table is not doing well for us at the moment. It's still early in the season, but we're already well behind. Dusseldorf, almost a perfect start. They got 10 points. Karlsruhe as well, right there. The only difference is goal differential. The only saving grace, Karlsruhe is giving up goals. Dusseldorf seems like a very stout defensive team. Grit the First still up there. But look, we were in the top 10. Now we're 12th on 4 points. Cologne jumps up to 6. Goal differential back to 0 again. Ugh. We need to do better. We're 3 points from relegation spot. It's too early to talk about that, but damn, man, come on! I want to have the season be better than last. It's gonna be just as infuriating.
It's early. It's early.
It is early.
Yeah.
It is plenty time. International break came at the perfect time. I think we need a.
I
We all
agree.
need a break. We all need a break.
I agree.
Oh, I don't think there's so much else to talk about. No news really came out. I did see some. Here's a question for you. I did see a bunch of content creators already saying like, "Hey, Gerards has got to go. He can't figure it out defensively yet. He's got to go." I mean, what are your thoughts on Gerards and like what he's done thus far? And like, is it too early to say that? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's definitely too early to say that. Can we afford to find another coach again? I mean, I don't know what that financial picture looks like. Look, I think there were positives about Gerards from last season. We're looking for improvement. Haven't seen that yet for the most part. Obviously, that first game of the season was a false dawn to some extent because of who the opponent was. Like we've seen other teams beat up on them, Cologne notably, who we just played. The remaining 3 games have been a little bit of a different picture of kind of our capabilities of our squad and whatnot. So, hopefully we can get people back healthy and give Gerards kind of all the tools to play with at the same time. And maybe he will find a winning formula from that. But yeah, at the moment, defense isn't good enough. That continues to be an issue. And if it's a personnel issue, I mean, there's not much we can do. It's going to be a problem again. So, yeah, that goal difference has to get a lot better if we're going to have a chance of moving up the table and competing for promotion. We don't want to be stuck down here for 5 years, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, we need to see some turnaround on the back end of this international break for sure.
Let me ask you this: we've been using this 4-2-3-1 this season a lot. I know Gerards is a fan of the 3-5-2. Defensively, we've been struggling. Do you think moving to a 3-5-2 or what? How do you see this improving this defense? Because it seems like having six back there isn't helping anything.
Yeah, no, I mean you're right. Especially if you look at some of the transition goals and everything, you'd be wondering kind of where Bachmann and Seguin are to help kind of screen for the back line in some of those situations, and not fully rely on it. But we're maybe I don't know if it's an issue with pushing too high up the field and not being in enough of a positive shape to be able to deal with some of those counters when they happen. But yeah, I don't know. We talk about the tactical flexibility that Gerards claims he has. So far this season, as you said, though, pretty locked in shape. So it seems that this is definitely what he wants to do. I don't know. This would be an opportunity for him to kind of revisit that, obviously, over the international break and potentially tinker with some things.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's an idea is like, I don't know who you put there defensively, whether it's Sanchez or Kaminsky or Wazinski or whom, but Schallenberg back in the middle instead of Bachmann. That way Seguin can push up higher, because I think that's what I noticed in this game a lot was Seguin was not pushing up enough. I don't know if he didn't feel Bachmann's ball ability is good enough. We know Schallenberg has good ball ability, so maybe he needs to go back in the middle and kind of spread the ball around. And maybe maybe go into a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2 or something. I don't know. We have to figure something out defensively just isn't there. I know Donkor, I feel like he played a little bit of wing back as well as winger, so maybe you can find a way to do that. And Aiden in there, I don't know. They'll have to figure it out. Just because we're giving away too many goals at the moment. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about putting Schallenberg back and by himself at the base of a midfield, because I know there were times where he didn't seem capable of.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes he did. It was very inconsistent. But yeah, part of me wonders if we go to some sort of diamond, maybe you have Antwi and Seguin opposite each other. That could help some things in possession. You still have Karaman, at Cam, and then you'd have, Schallenberg at the base of that diamond potentially. Although obviously that does some things in terms of limiting the other personnel like Hamachi more, but I don't think Hamachi's really done much so far anyway. So
maybe Yunus needs to make an appearance in the starting 11. He seems to be working well off the bench.
Yeah,
we'll see. They got a lot to figure out here. They got 11 days to figure it out before the next official league game. So yeah, a long way to go. The season's young, 4 games in, but not ideal. Out of the top 10 now, so. They got to figure something out. So anyway, I got nothing else. I just want to vent after this game. It just was infuriating to watch.
fair enough.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
You got anything else?
No, let's hit it.
All right, let's hit this break. Jack, where can our followers find you on social media?
At JMMangan on Twitter.
Wonderful. You can follow me at R_KHARMAN. More importantly, follow us on Schalke America all across social media. And if you haven't done so yet on YouTube, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. And then, we got next game is next official game, 11 days away, Friday the 13th against Karlsruhe. Big game. Let's hope the defense is improved. All right. For Jack, myself, catch you guys soon. Enjoy the international break. Glück auf.